speaking with the press, and they're just so excited about everything going forward. So we're on to, now let me just make 50. Okay, for possible action, any items from the 11 a.m. session that the council staff and/or applicant wish to be stricken, tabled, withdrawn, or held in abeyance to a future meeting may be brought forward and acted upon this time. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Before I read the two that are on, I believe Councilman Knutson would like to add two. Would you tell me those two?
Mayor Pro Tem, thank you. I would like to pull items 54 and 57 and would suggest that they be read or heard in 30 days and ask for a 30-day abeyance. That'll give me time to meet with the applicants.
What was the second one, 54 and?
57.
And 57.
Okay. And not 58?
Okay.
Not 58 in his, he's not interested
Nope, he's
in that
okay
one?
with that. Okay, so with that, item 81, VAR 76198, the applicant owner Stephanie Pang on .19 acres at 2109 Linda Vista Street has requested an abeyance until August 7th. And then item 86, which is SUP 76230, applicant owner Main Street Investments 3 LLC at 1319 South Main Street has requested an abeyance. And then item number 54, which is VAR 76222, Councilman Knutson has asked to obey this for 30 days, which would put us at what date? August 7th. And then item number 57, which is SUP 76233. Councilman Knutson has asked us to obey this to August 7th as well.
Madam Mayor Pro Tem?
And that will be my motion.
Wait, and there's one more?
No, I just have a point of clarification for probably Attorney Scott. In order for us, don't we technically have to pull them off of one motion, one vote, and then we have to take action on them, or can we pull them off and take action simultaneously?
I'm sorry, Councilman, can you?
So my question was, one of the abatements that Councilman Knutson has, are, I think two are on one motion, one vote?
Yes.
And I didn't know if we needed to pull them off one motion, one vote, and then take action on them? Or can we simultaneously pull them and take action?
You can simultaneously pull them off and vote to obey them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So before I call for the motion, I just have to make one correction on item number 86. It was obeyed until August 21st by the applicant. And with that, Madam Mayor, my motion is to approve.
Okay, there's a motion. Please vote and please post. Why is this not going? There we go. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Items numbers 51 through 50 through 58, with in consideration with those we just obeyed, may be considered in one motion, one vote. They're considered routine, not public, and public hearing items with no condition changes. Any person representing an application or a member of the public or member of the council not in agreement with the conditions and all standard conditions for the application recommended by staff should request to have that item removed from this portion of the agenda. And of course, we just voted on number 54 and number 57. So I will read through the remainder. Well, I guess, Council, do I read the ones that we've gone ahead and obeyed as well, or not?
No, Mayor, you don't have to read the ones that have been obeyed, just the ones that remain.
Okay, thank you. Agenda item 51, EOT 76537, applicant owner ETEA 8 TEA 8 Holdings LLC, and a request for a third extension of time for a non-conforming liquor establishment tavern 808 West Lake Mead Boulevard, C1 Limited Commercial Zone. Number 52, ZON 76227, applicant Advanced Dental Labs, owner Wayne Murray, request for rezoning from R4 high density residential to C1 Limited Commercial, and related item S number 53, SDR 76228, on a request for a site site development plan review for proposed two-story, 5,732 square foot dental lab with waivers to allow 5 parking spaces where 32 are required, lot width of 50 feet where 100 feet is required, lot coverage of 66% where 50% is allowed, and a 0-foot side yard setback on the north and a 5-yard side setback on the south where 10 feet is required, a 5-foot wide landscape buffer along the west perimeter where 10 feet is required, and a 0-foot wide landscape buffer along the south perimeter where 8 feet is required on .16 acres at 321 South Maryland Parkway. And then on 55, SUP 76234, applicant owner Lady Kyle LLC, on a request for a special use permit for a proposed 6,000 square foot liquor establishment tavern use on the east side of Oso Blanco. It said wrong, I keep thinking Councilman Coffin. Oso Blanca Road, and related item 56, SDR 76235, and a request for a site development plan review for a proposed commercial center consisting of a 6,000 square foot tavern and a 5,100 square foot retail building and an 80-foot tall freestanding sign wireless communication facility, stealth design with waivers to allow a 5-foot wide landscape buffer adjacent to a portion of the south property line where 8 feet is required, and a 10-foot wide landscape buffer adjacent to the east property line where 15 feet is required on 1.66 acres on the east side of Oso Blanca, approximately 660 feet north of Kyle Canyon Road, C1 Limited Commercial Zone. Number 58, VAC 76149, applicant owner AMD United Holdings LLC, on a request for a petition to vacate U.S. government patent easements generally located on the north side of Charleston, east of Brush Street. Staff recommends approval on all items which are public hearings, and I now declare open. Is there anyone wishing to be heard on numbers 51 through 58, minus 54 and 57? Any comment, Mr. Summerfield? Okay, seeing none, I'll close the public hearings. Mayor Pro Tem, may I have a motion for motion, one vote, items 1 through 58, minus those 2 I just cited.
Madam Mayor, I motion to approve.
Thank you. There's a motion, please vote, and please post. The motion carries. Thank you very much. And now we'll move on to 59 and 60. Number 59, VAR 75869, a request for a variance to allow 5 parking spaces where 12 are required. Number 60, SDR 75870, and a request for a site development plan review for proposed 6-unit multifamily residential development with waivers to allow a 3-foot landscape buffer width along the east and west property lines where 6 feet is required, and a 4-foot landscape buffer width along the south property line where 10 feet is required. Applicant owner is Janine Lee et al. On .16 acres at 2517 Valley Street, R-3 medium density residential zone. The Planning Commission and staff recommend denial on both items. These are in Ward 3 with Councilwoman Diaz, and our public hearings which I declare open. Is the applicant or representative present?
Hi, my name is Bruce Yu. I'm representing the owner of the property and also the planning designer. And you want my address?
Yeah, no, how do you spell your last name, sir, please?
Y-U.
Y-U.
Yeah, that's why me, why you.
Do you want to go ahead? Please go ahead and tell us about your
Oh, yeah.
proposal.
We originally submitted with the 6-unit when we started.
Right.
I know it was asking too much. There was a lot of asking for the waive for the buffers and parking lot. That was the issue. I do totally understand that. And then we got denied, of course. And then we did redesign and revise to the planning department, and they meet all those parking requirements, and then and also those buffers and the landscaping buffers, those both sides, east and west, and also entrance area. So, it's been quite a bit smaller, and to meet those, the requirement buffer, the landscaping, and we had to ask those about 3 feet on the east side, I believe. So that's about it at this time. And then we had a meeting with the planning departments, and then they would, recommend and maybe as possible approval for asking for the approval for the commission.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Summerfield. Mr. Lowenstein.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Since the June 5th City Council meeting, the applicant has revised the scope of the project by reducing the number of units from 6 to 4. In doing so, the associated parking demand has been reduced, and the proposed variance application is no longer necessary. The applicant has requested waivers from required landscape buffers, which staff finds the request justified due to the narrowness of the subject lot, and the proposed pedestrian pathway from the sidewalk is provided along the west property line, as well as there are existing structures and walls on adjacent properties located along the east and west property lines. As such, staff is recommending that the variance application be struck and approval of the site development plan review. Thank you.
And the approval, excuse me?
Approval of the site development plan review.
Okay. Councilwoman Diaz, any questions, comments here?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So I just want to be clear then, they are meeting the city's expectations with these new amendments or changes to the plan that we have received with the 4-unit. So I just want the record to be clear, it's no longer a 6-unit that they're building, but it's going to a 4-unit. And then are we comfortable with all of the, what do you call them? Is it conditions that they need to build? Are we comfortable?
Through you, Madam Mayor. Yes, the application has been revised from 6 units down to 4 units, and the backup materials, the plans reflect that, and will be part of the record. The city staff is comfortable with the requested waivers and finds that they're justified in relation to the pedestrian path and some of the other criteria and variables that are associated with the site.
Okay. What I'd like to do, Councilwoman, is this is a public hearing. Is there anyone that's come here or would like to speak on these items at number 59 or 59 or 60? Okay, I'll close the public hearing. I'll turn it back to you, Councilwoman. Okay, I'll turn it back to you, Councilwoman Diaz.
Thank you,
And
Mayor.
if you do them one at a time.
You're ready for the motion?
Yeah, please.
Madam Mayor, if you don't mind,
Yes, please.
Councilman Diaz.
Go ahead.
Just a quick question. So is there still you're saying that to go to 4 units, is there still a landscape buffer that is need a variance of in one of the conditions? Or are there no problems with the lot? Because they were within the parking, right?
Through you, Madam Mayor. Councilman, yes, they're accommodating the required amount of parking spaces because they reduced the intensity of the
Right.
request. The associated waivers are looked upon as being justified because of the pedestrian path that's running along one of the property lines. And then the adjacent property also has some structures that are fairly close to the property line. With the revisions, they are in conformance with their parking requirements, and that was the crux of the original recommendation of denial.
So, Mayor?
But there was a landscape buffer waiver also, correct?
That is part of the site development review, yes. They are requesting some exceptions from, or a waiver from some of the buffer depth. They are still providing plant material in the remaining buffers
Right.
that are on site.
But there's still going to be a deficiency in the depth. I just want to, not to belabor, I just want to understand that there is going to be a deficiency in the depth of the side buffer.
That is correct. That is
Okay.
part of the request.
And to that, you have agreed? Could
Okay,
you say it?
thank you.
So we could, you do agree, Mr. Yu, for your client?
Yeah.
Thank you. And Mr. Scott?
So, Mayor, it's okay. Councilwoman, if you were in agreement with what staff was recommending, you would recommend to strike number 59, and then that would be one vote, and then you would vote to approve 60, if that's the way you wanted to go.
All right, I'm ready to make the motion if the mayor's ready to
Please,
accept it.
please.
All right, so I move that we strike number 59.
Okay, there's a motion to strike agenda item number 59. Please vote and please post. Councilman Creer, there you go. And that motion carries. And now on number 60, please.
And I move to adopt or pass number 60 on the agenda with the waivers approved by the planning department.
And Madam Mayor, through you, those are itemized on the if approved conditions.
Okay, with the conditions.
Thank you. There's a motion to approve number 60, subject to the conditions that have been agreed to. And please vote and please post. The motion carries.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So 59, 60,
You can take everything you brought with you,
okay, so
unless you need them. No, they're covered.
they'll
Thank you.
both be approved?
Yep.
you very
No, one
much.
was stricken. Number 59 was stricken.
Oh, okay.
Number 60, Mr. Lowenstein, you may want to make sure, or
Okay.
Mr. Summerfield did.
All right,
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on now to agenda items 61 through 65. Correct. Okay. Number 61, GPA 75219, a request for a general plan amendment from RNP, Rural Neighborhood Preservation, to L, Low Density Residential. Note, the request was amended at Planning Commission from RNP, Rural Neighborhood Preservation, to R, Rural. Number 62, ZON 75220, a request for rezoning from RE Residence Estates to R1 Single Family Residential. Number 63, VAR 75221, a request for a variance to allow a 43-foot wide private street without gate, sidewalk on one side where a 47-foot wide street with sidewalk on both sides is required, and a connectivity ratio of 1.0 where 1.30 is required. Number 64, VAC 75222, on a request for a petition to vacate U.S. government patent easements generally located southwest corner of Centennial Parkway and Jensen Street. Number 65, TMP 75223, a request for a tentative map for an 18-lot, single-family residential subdivision with waivers to allow no interior or exterior street lights where such is required, deferral of off-site improvements on Virginia Avenue and Jensen Street, and 184-foot extension intersection offset where 220 feet is required. The applicant is D.R. Horton, Inc. The owner is Alexandra Barbier Living Trust on 5 acres at the southwest corner of Centennial Parkway and Jensen. RE Residence Estate Zone proposed R1 Single Family Residential. Planning Commission recommends approval on all items. Staff recommends approval on items number 61 and 64 and denial on items number 62, 63, and 65. These are in Ward 5 with Mayor Pro Tem Fiore. Public hearings, which I now declare open. Is the applicant or representative present?
I am. Good afternoon, Your Honor, council members. My name is Tony Sless, address 1980 Festival Plaza Drive, here on behalf of D.R. Horton Homes. First, if I can orient you towards the overhead. On the top, I have the aerial. The subject property is 5 acres located to the south of Centennial, on the west side of Jensen, north of Regina. And then right here, this is a developed Lennar Homes property. And I will get into, I mentioned this because this will become important to the discussion in a few minutes, but this is built Lennar Homes with 5 adjacent homes there. We are coming in asking for an amendment to the general plan to go to, we initially filed it to low, but because our density is going to be less than 3.5, we actually only need the rural. So that was what Planning Commission recommended and adopted, and we amended our request at the podium to go to rural for our general plan. The corresponding zoning we're asking for is R1. You can see on my zoning map immediately to the west of us is the Lennar project I just mentioned. That is currently zoned R1, a couple of R1. Additionally, down Centennial, in fact, right here, or adjacent to this R1 that I'm pointing to, is a D.R. Horton project that came in 2 weeks ago. That is now zoned R1 as well. So R1 is certainly a compatible zoning in this area, especially when you see on both sides of Centennial, but we're on the south side, and especially on the south side, and we appreciate Planning Commission did recommend approval of that. With respect to the design itself, we are proposing, north is actually facing to the left here. Again, Centennial, we're proposing a 14-lot cul-de-sac here, and then we have 2 lots that front out onto Regina. This was the preferred design, especially with the RMP neighbors to the south here off Regina. We're having 2 lots there that are a minimum 18,000 square feet. They match up with respect to lot size and the 2 lots directly across the street from us, so that was something that was important. We are then, as a result, asking for the 14 internal cul-de-sac that would exit out onto Centennial. A couple of the technical things we have are some of the vacation of patent easements. This is a private street, however, we're not proposing a gate on it, and because of that, that does trigger a variance. So we're asking to have private streets, but no gates on there. Those are things that both Planning Commission and typically the City Council have been supportive of. I think most important issue is with respect to this property line right here, our west property line. You can see again, I had referenced the Lennar homes right here that is built. There are 4 homes right here, lots 1, 2, 3, and 4. The way this property was entitled, and this, I apologize, I'm going to have to give a few minutes background with respect to this because it's important to conversations we've had with the neighbors and what we're trying to do with this site. So this 10 acres was initially in the county. It was entitled about 6 years ago by the Board of County Commissioners in Clark County. It was entitled to go to the R1 zoning with these densities. One of the issues that was before the County Commission was with respect to this, what would be Lennar's east property line right here and the wall height. Because at the time the County Commission did not want to see wall height variances or waivers, what was done is that along the property line here is a 4-foot tall retaining wall, a 5-foot swath that goes to the west, and then an additional 3 to 4 foot retaining wall with a screen wall on top of that for about a 9 to 10 foot wall there, 5 foot out, and then another 4 feet down. So you would essentially would have had about a 14-foot tall wall if they had asked for one wall there versus tiering it. So what that has actually done now is created a property line, and I've used this for illustration right here, where this is the D.R. Horton property right here. These are the lots 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the Lennar development, that where the property line actually extends to right here that I'm showing. That is the location of the retaining wall, the 4-foot retaining wall. It then goes in 5 feet where you then have basically a 10-foot wall, 4 foot of retaining with another 6 foot on top of that, and that was the way it was approved. So in our development plans, what we are showing is a wall adjacent to our property line. Now, the concern that was...
Another wall.
A wall that we would have our own screen wall, exactly, Your Honor. So that was one of the concerns that Mayor Pro Tem brought up to us, because what the concern was that we're now going to have about a 400-foot long area, 5 foot wide, that could be, for lack of a better word, a dead man zone there. It would not be D.R. Horton's property. It is, unfortunately for the neighbors, they're still their property line and their property there. So as you know, we've held this a few times. We
But
tried.
whose responsibility is that area?
That is the individual homeowners. And I would get into
The Lennar homeowners, or?
the
what
Lennar
you
homeowners,
propose?
yes. And so we had spent, the council, or Mayor Pro Tem now, had asked us to meet with the neighbors to review this area. So in doing so, we had met with them, and from D.R. Horton's perspective, the best way to resolve this was to actually purchase a use easement here. We would have then the exclusive use of this 5 feet of their yard. That way, we would not have to build another wall, and we would just wall it here. In other words, it would appear to be like the D.R. Horton's back, part of their backyard, but with an exclusive use easement along that. Unfortunately, after a lot of negotiations, we just could not come to terms. One of the neighbors is here who owns Lot 1. I know she can speak for herself when she wants to, or at the time, I'm sorry, but she had indicated that she would actually like to use her 5 feet, which, you know, it's her property, and she can do, obviously, what she wants to try to do with it. So at any rate, we did try to negotiate it. Also, what I think is very important is that when these property owners did buy the property, they did have knowledge of it. You can see all their plot plans. This is Lot 1, Lot 2, 3, and 4 here, where they signed here on the plot plan showing the first wall, the 5 foot, and then the property line right here. So each one of them did sign that during their disclosures, and when they were going through buying the property, they should have had the understanding that their property line did not end at that first screen wall, but rather that retaining wall to the east. And, you know, D.R. Horton was going to try to resolve that issue by entering into use agreements with them, but unfortunately, after a lot of hard negotiations with them and trying to get there, we just couldn't. So we're at a point where we have to try to move forward. Again, this is the wall plan that was permitted by the city. So you can see this illustrates a little bit more what I was talking about along what would be D.R. Horton's west property line and Lennar's east property line. Right here is the pad. This is the 6 foot tall screen wall. This is the 3 to 4 foot tall retaining wall. Right here is then the 5 foot wide path, property line with the 4 foot tall retaining wall. So that is everything that's been permitted through the city. I know there was some concern that potentially the Lennar development may have been developed incorrectly, not per entitlements, not permitted by the city. We've gone back, and that's one of the reasons why we did hold this, is to go back and get that history of the Lennar development. You know, that it was entitled in the county, it was subsequently annexed into the city, all the permits were given through the city. So the Lennar development, you know, is developed per the plans approved, per the permits approved by the city. So what we would propose is that we would still build our property wall, our wall along our property line, and then right here we would put a gate right there that would only allow access for the HOA or these individuals to maintain, but that way it would at least not become an attractive nuisance for anyone to go back there. So that is the solution that we are now providing. With that being said, though, our last offer and negotiations with these 4 neighbors still remains on the table. We're more than happy to enter into those use agreements, and that'll remain on the table until such time we have to, you know, actually commence construction out here. So that does give us several months to still negotiate, to not put in our wall, to potentially, you know, purchase those use easements back there. So that I just wanted to let everyone know that, you know, whatever happens today, if this were to be approved with the wall there, we still honor our commitment to that negotiation and last agreement that we proposed. And the final thing I forgot to mention, I think it's probably a condition on the tentative map, but we agreed that these will all be single-story, one-story products as well. Went through a lot. I apologize I had to give a lot of background on a separate property, but it is important to everything that, you know, we've been trying to do.
There may be questions. Thank you, Tony. I think we need to hear from the city staff first, and then the public, and then maybe some comments here or questions. So let me turn it over to Mr. Lowenstein.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The proposed amendment to the general plan, as revised by the applicant and approved by Planning Commission, will allow a density of 3.59 dwelling units per acre adjacent to some properties that are limited to 3.59 units and that are also limited to 2 units per acre. Therefore, staff recommends approval of the general plan amendment. The proposed rezoning would allow for minimum lot sizes of 6,500 square feet and therefore would be in violation of the 2016 interlocal agreement between the City of Las Vegas and Clark County, which limits development within Plan Area B within the city boundaries to maintain a minimum buildable lot of 10,000 square feet. As such, staff is recommending denial of the rezoning. The applicant has also requested a variance and waivers to not gate a private street or meet public street standards, to not provide required street connectivity, to provide no streetlights where required, to defer off-site improvements, and to not provide the minimal external intersection offset distances. Staff finds the applicant's hardships to be self-imposed and that the requested variance and waivers reinforce the unsuitability of the site design without the surrounding residential developments. Therefore, staff's recommended denial of the variance and associated tentative map. Staff has no objection to the vacation request and recommends approval of that application. If a recommendation for approval, or motion is made for approval, as indicated by the applicant, to limit the homes in the subdivision to single-story, we would propose a condition of approval on the tentative map that would read, all homes within the subdivision are to be single-story. Thank you.
Thank you. Is the suggestion of planning then, or is it written into any final documentation that they don't want lights and sidewalks if in fact there comes a movement from the HOA or something, if there is one, that they now want sidewalks and lights? It is the responsibility of that private developer or HOA? I mean, I know as this town's grown since 1964, what was asked to be ranchette type and no sidewalks and no lights, obviously as town grew and development then kept moving further and further out, whose responsibility are those sidewalks and lights?
Madam Mayor, Bart Anderson, Public Works. There is a condition of approval regarding the construction of the improvements, including the streetlights. It's condition of approval number 10 on the tentative map. And it, in accordance with our recently passed Title 19.02.025.f, the applicant will contribute monies for all improvements not constructed at this time, so that in the future, if they need to be constructed, we can call upon those monies to do that installation.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this is a public hearing. Anyone wishing to be heard on any of the following 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, and if you would, aside from stating your name, if this is in reference to all items, but be specific if it's only to one of them, please. Hi.
Hi, my name is Melissa Skinner, and I am here representing Darren Rudisil, owner of 6390 Gold Strike Canyon. This one. So it would be reference to all of them, all of items 61 through 65, as they affect the development. So we have been meeting with Tony and Dan from your office, trying to get this figured out regarding the 5 feet. I don't have all the pretty maps that Tony has, but I know he provided you with initialized maps showing that the homeowners actually signed off on what he showed as 2 walls. Those homes, I'm going to speak for my home. Standing inventory, 1 wall, when you walk in the backyard, that's all you see. Those maps that he provided do not indicate that there are 2 walls there. Where we initialed, it shows front yard setbacks, side yard setbacks, and backyard setbacks. So these homeowners just realized we had an additional 5 feet when D.R. Horton decided to plan. So what I am trying to do is determine what my options are with regards to my 5 feet. I want to be able to use that 5 feet. I do not want to be able to grant an easement and have whoever purchases these homes have access to it. So, having said that, I know that the city approved these walls when Lennar built them, and didn't want the tall wall.
County-
Well,
From what I understand, this was the county, so the county approved
the
what is.
entitlements.
Yeah.
The entitlements.
The
But
wall.
So the county would have improved the wall as well?
Yes.
Okay. Because now D.R. Horton is actively building properties up on Alpine Ridge, which is, I don't know if that's city or county, but it's just up the street off of Centennial and Alpine Ridge. And those walls exceed 15 feet.
Those are city, Mr. Lowenstein?
Without knowing the exact location, but I would hedge, yes, those are in the city, but with wall heights, the combination of retaining and screen walls, it differs on the natural slope of the property. Some warrant a larger height requirement per the development standards. In this particular case, they are stepped versus one wall because the one wall combination would have required a variance per our development standards. Someone in the future could seek that, but that is something that has already been mitigated, so therefore that application would go before Planning Commission and possibly City Council.
So what I'm here before the council to ask basically is more time. I have just recently understood that I have an additional 5 feet. I want to be able to use that 5 feet. I think it would be irresponsible of myself to grant an easement where now I'm not going to be able to use my 5 feet and someone behind me has that property. And I think it would be irresponsible for development purposes, especially because my unit is on Centennial Parkway, to allow that 5-foot dead space. It wouldn't be cohesive to what's being developed right now. So DR is working with us, and we are trying to resolve this. It is an expense. I'm trying to mitigate that expense on my end and accommodate a single-story development behind me.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And that Mayor Pro Tem will take that under consideration, I'm sure. Is there anyone else wishing to be heard on any of these items? Okay, I'll close public hearing and turn it over to Mayor Pro Tem. Yes? Yes, you did. Please come up.
Case 81. And
Wait till you come to the microphone. Your name, please, ma'am?
My name is Stephanie Peng.
Okay.
And I asked to change the date on the August 7th, but I didn't get the notice. Everybody show up.
Is this on any of the agenda 61 through 65?
81.
No. That
Oh.
would be, we'll get to that. Let's finish this one if you
Oh,
would,
okay.
please.
Too
Thank
early?
you. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. And if you will, Mr. Summerfield's beckoning to you. He can tell you about that abeyance.
Yeah.
Okay, back to you, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So in listening to our neighbor, I 100% agree with her. I want her to be able to use her 5 feet, and I want those 4 neighbors to be able to use those 5 feet. I think it would be irresponsible for the city if we didn't put a gate up. So what I'm proposing is your project, and I know we've been working on this for a while now, and property rights is something that is very near and dear to my heart. And 5 feet is a lot of footage when you know, whatever it's for, whether it's for plants, I'd personally use it for my 6 grandkids. So what I would propose to you and D.R. Horton is I would like to not touch our 4 neighbors' 5 feet. I want them to have their 5 feet. I would like for you to put, as we develop, put a wall up, so their 5 feet is their 5 feet. So this new project doesn't encroach on what they have. But if we could put a gate up to where, at your expense, right, at D.R. Horton's expense, that they have full access to that gate. That gate is theirs. And that's my proposal. I would like to move forward with this and approve the items, making sure that our neighbors keep that, I mean, that's their property.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay, do you want to, every time you come up to the microphone, if you'd reintroduce yourself, sorry.
Melissa Skinner, 6390 Gold Strike Canyon. So my question with regards to the gate, is that one gate on Centennial only? So then we have a lengthy alleyway of 5 feet?
Okay, so it's actually, it's 4 feet by 400 feet. So you're only going to have a 4-foot gate on your property, and I'm literally asking D.R. Horton to pay for that. They don't have to, but as the city of Las Vegas, I don't want an empty alleyway that a homeless person can go into, and then we create homeless issues in Ward 6. So what I'm asking them to do at their expense, not your expense,
Right.
is to put a gate there, make sure you and our 3 other neighbors have full access to it, and then we move forth with the project. But I have to tell you, I feel for you. I would be very upset if I just found out I have 5 more feet that I could put a backyard in.
Well, I'm going to suggest that a gate there is going to cause a problem if I extend my yard and put my boundary walls. Now that gate is
So-
going to stop
yeah.
when I put my boundary wall up. So I don't know that that's a solution that suits everyone.
So then how about this? How about we don't put a gate there for about 12 months? Can we do a 12-month, and let the 4 of you, I'll give you 12 months to decide whether you want a gate put in at their expense, so you don't have to pay for it. And then in 12 months, you could say put a gate up or don't put a gate up. Is that fair?
That's fair, but can I get clarity on what their back wall onto their project, where is that going?
Absolutely. Well, it's not going to go on your property line, because I am very,
Well-
very...
Well, I have 2 walls now, right? So
Yeah.
are you asking for an easement from the 4-foot wall
No
up?
easements.
It's on our property line.
So now we're going to have it, so now if I wanted to use my wall, I'm going to have to come to you and want to raise my back wall, and there's going to be 2 walls there.
So let me tell you, as your representative, it's your property, and you're never going to have a problem with me granting what you want to do on your property.
And you're never going to have a problem with seeing that visual 2 wall from Centennial? I don't know that that's how you want the community as a whole to look, to have 2
So-
walls like
so
within inches of each other.
And it sounds like it. And Mr. Gronauer, I think you have to announce yourself.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor, members of the council. Bob Gronauer, 1980 Festival Plaza Drive.
Thank you.
I'm here assisting with Tony because we represent Lennar Homes and also D.R. Horton, who's both been, Mayor Pro Tem has asked us to get involved. We do this a lot in the Northwest. I've represented many developers in the Northwest and the county, and when we have these 5-foot areas here, we always, matter of fact, Commissioner Larry Brown just 2 weeks ago with Pinnacle Homes, about 2 weeks ago, had us put a gate between the 2 subdivisions that had 5 foot of
It
access.
sounds like to me, if I may, Mr. Gronauer, that this needs to be obeyed. Discussion continued with,
No, I believe the solution is to put a gate up if they want a gate. If they don't want a gate, that's fine, because at the end of the day, we don't want to take their property if they don't want to sell it. If they want to sell it, we'll buy it. We've already offered them more than double the market rate right now that's out there, so we're fine to move forward
you
as is.
don't want to have one house say, yeah, I want a gate, and the next house, no, and the next house, yes, and the next house,
No, actually, if
Okay.
that works.
Let's close it down, yeah.
If that works.
talk to you.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much. So this is what I'm going to propose, right? Because what I propose, I don't think you're happy with, so I'm going to obey this until July 17th. So within 2 weeks, I would like for you and our other 3 neighbors and Tony and Bob, all 6 of you, to come into my office so we can talk this out and make it appropriate. Because if the way I've read it is we were going to move forward, we're not touching your 5 feet, and we're going to put a gate up so no homeless goes. But if that's an issue, because we can talk for hours on it, so I'd rather talk
Yep,
for hours
yep,
in my office.
yep.
So let's just obey this till Wednesday, July 17th, please, Madam Clerk.
Okay, there's a motion to obey agenda items. I know you're bursting at the seams to say something, but let us vote. 61, 62, 63, 64, obey to the 17th of July. And council, please vote, and Councilwoman and Mayor Pro Tem has asked that you all schedule meetings with her.
Madam Mayor, may I just make one
This is
comment?
Lennar?
Thank you. One of the questions that I have, and we don't have to answer this now, but on the 17th is, I just wanted, maybe this is a staff question. What is the impetus of going from an RMP down to rural? And why not just leave it at an RMP if they're underdeveloping in those standards and from RE to R1? So we don't have to answer that now because we have spoken about this for a while, but just maybe someone get with me before the 17th on that.
Yep.
Thank you. The motion carries.
Thank you.
She'll see you between now and the 17th, I'm sure. Please call
I have
our
all the
office.
neighbors' contact, and we'll
Great.
coordinate and get in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're on to agenda items 66, 67, 68. Okay, thank you. Agenda item 66, VAR 76120, on a request for a variance to allow a 0-foot rear yard setback where 20 feet is required. Number 67, VAR 76267, request for a variance to allow 15 parking spaces where 27 is required. Number 68, SDR 76121, on a request for a site development plan review, proposed 2,078 square foot expansion of an existing auto repair garage minor building with waivers to allow service bay doors to face the right-of-way and 0-foot wide landscape buffers adjacent to the northwest property lines where 8 feet is required. The applicant owner is Best Amigos, LLC, on .59 acres, 2401 North Rancho Drive, C2, General Commercial Zone. The Planning Commission staff recommend denial on all items. These are in Ward 5 of Councilman Creer. Public hearings, which I declare open. Is the applicant present? Hello
Yes,
again.
how are you? Miguel Gutierrez of GVS Construction, representing Best Amigos. Mayor Goodman, good afternoon. Finally, an honor to meet you in person.
Well, nice to see you.
First and foremost, I would like to thank Councilman Creer for meeting with us briefly on the subject. And thank you to Councilman Diaz, congratulations. And I really love the philosophy of through education, we could progress and move forward. So thank you so much on that. After having a very positive meeting with the planning department, Nicole Edos, fire department, David Klein, building department, Rod Clark, and transportation engineering, Roger Bailey, they were all very excited to hear about the projects and its positive effects to the immediate surrounding area. I previously went to Planning Commission, and our initial presentation was denied. We were completely unaware that there were code enforcement issues, and we did not know anything about them. In fact, correcting code enforcement issues is what we seek, that is the main goal for the project. So immediately the day after we went to Planning Commission, we met with our code enforcement officer, Ms. Lemos, I believe, and I said, what do we need to correct the code enforcement issue? And she said, you have the solution right there on that site plan. If you move forward with your project, everything's going to be cleaned up. So what I have here is the following. This is the current site plan of what the existing conditions are. If you notice, there's stacks of tires, there's containers, and it's an eyesore.
Right.
That's another picture there. Off of Smoke Ranch. Another picture there. I also have a picture of a current project that we built 4 years ago for the same client. And as you could see, this was built 4 years ago. It's very clean, very well presented. People take pride when they have a beautiful place, and they keep it clean. They feel good about keeping it looking that way. I'm going to pass the baton on to Stephen King.
My name is Steve King. I'm the Director of Design for GVS Construction. We're located at 3978 South Keystone Court. And with that being said, I'd like to show the actual working site map of what we're trying to do. Again, thank you, Honorable Mayor Goodman, Councilman Creer, for our meeting with us that day for coffee. Enjoyed the coffee and enjoyed your conversation with us. Thank you. Council members, thank you for your consideration in what we're calling a beautification project. As Miguel had stated previously, we had done this once before, and we have numerous projects for this client coming up in the future. Let's talk about the project and how it will affect the surrounding community. I think we can all agree that properties, whether commercial or residential, that become tired and unsightly lessen the appeal to the entire area for the community and their visitors. Cleaning up properties and giving them a fresh look not only makes the area more appealing, it brings hope and shows that things are happening in their neck of the woods for the community members. One property cleans up and it sets precedents. Then the next, and then the next, and hopefully the entire area takes notice and conforms. This property is one that needs to conform, and I think if you've driven by this property, you would agree. That's why we're here. The property structures are 55 years old, constructed in 1965, and as you can see in the photos that were shown before you, the project needs some help, and that's what we're here for. Our role and our plan for this project are very basic. We will be completely cleaning up the site, and if you can see those photos, there are tires everywhere, wheels everywhere. The entire backyard is completely filled with tires. We have plans for this project and many more coming up. These tires are going to be under a program where they will be hauled off twice weekly, eliminating stacked tires. There'll be a staging area in the back that the trucks will come in, they will load those tires up, and they will be hauled off-site twice weekly. This will obviously be creating a much safer community from major fire issues, which was a large portion of the discussion we had with Mr. David Klein, Fire Department. We'll be under a maintenance contract for a minimum of 4 years to maintain this property as part of our contract, ensuring that there will be no code enforcement issues, which there were previously. We will be providing new stucco exterior, providing with fresh paint throughout, adding new block perimeter walls for screening purposes, 8 feet tall, all the way around the property. And most likely, in this location, if you can see here, we'll have to step down because this is actually North Rancho, and this is Smoke Ranch. Okay? The new building will be equipped with an automatic fire sprinkler system, and we will be enhancing the tiered landscaping and resealing and striping the entire parking lot. So let's take a little closer look at what our plan is on this site map. This portion here, as you can see, is the existing structure. This is the proposed structure here. And we would like to bring it all the way to this property line, which would have a wall 8 foot high, a gate through here, a wall would come all the way along this property line, tie into the building, then would start here and come out to a portion, to a location where it would have to be stepped down most likely for visibility purposes. We currently have this landscaped all the way around. Another island here. This is a curb cut opening. We also have a curb cut opening on this side, and then additionally 2 more curb cuts. We propose to remove these 2 curb cuts closest to the corner based on the fact that it's very busy corner and everyone felt that it was very unsafe. And I was out there spending some time there. People don't like to use these at all. We propose closing those off and continuing the sidewalk all the way along. We have a handicap accessible disabled person ramp here to this sidewalk, and the sidewalk stops. This is all just gravel. We want to bring that up to current state with new landscaping, continue this sidewalk over, walk this entire area, and continue this gravel area with a sidewalk, and then also adding our landscaping in and around these areas, all the way over to here. As you can see, this is our fire truck access and travel, route of travel. Currently, this existing structure here, the roof is in really rough shape. We propose to take that roof off and redo the roof and eliminate at least 5 feet of each side of that existing overhang, which is about 7.5 feet. It does not meet the height restrictions for a fire truck going through there. This would certainly allow us to get a new roof on this and for better access for route of travel for these fire trucks to come around. We did speak with David Klein with the fire department, and he said that we could have a post indicator valve for the fire department located right here at the existing structure. We also proposed 15 parking spaces. Because of the nature of this business, it's more of a drive up, get your tires fixed, have a tire changed, whatever, and then drive off. So essentially, they're utilizing all of these bays for their parking. We also have one handicap disabled parking spot down here. We most likely would want to have probably at least one additional, and we can easily make that happen in this existing proposed parking that we're showing currently. We felt because of the nature of the business and the ability for these fire trucks to be able to come in, that we did not want to do any island striping or any island parking in the middle, which we certainly could do. It would really interrupt the flow of the fire trucks coming in and around in case there was a fire. And then we also, lastly, proposed to redo these ADA restrooms. They're in rough shape as we look at them now. So we want to redo all of that interior ADA restrooms as it is. So with that, can I answer any questions for you?
Thank you for your comments, your presentation. Appreciate it. We're going to hear from staff now. Mr. Lowenstein.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This request is to expand the existing auto repair shop. The subject site has an open code enforcement case regarding weeds and outdoor tire storage since September of 2018. Due to the associated variance and waivers, staff finds that the proposed building expansion as configured is not harmonious and compatible with the surrounding area. Therefore, staff has recommended denial of all the requested entitlements. Thank you.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone who wishes to comment on 66, 67, 68? I will close public hearing. Any comments for council?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
And yes, I will turn this over to you.
Thank you.
They are in your ward.
First, good to see you guys today.
Thank you.
I know that there was some confusion last time for being here, and thank you guys for coming in and explaining this project to us a little more. You know, this area in this specific corner is a very high-traffic commercial corner. On the southwest side is a C-store. Across the street, there's the Fiesta Hotel, there's a Texas Station Hotel. So it's highly trafficked, and I would agree that the current facility there now is far from any type of beautification whatsoever. I think with the enhancement of the facility, and we'll take care of the code enforcement issues.
Yes, sir.
The buffer on the back, you know, we approved a little bit ago, council approved a little bit ago, I was on the planning commission, a apartment complex, like a 3-tiered apartment complex to go there, and once we approved it, then the developers turn around and listed the property, so I don't know what's going to happen with there. And so I don't see, it's been vacant for so long, I don't know, you know, what they're going to do with it, if they've sold it or what. The parking variance shouldn't be an issue. You guys don't have a lot of people coming in there parking. It's not like it's an office complex. They come in there, fix their cars, and they leave. So the underparking is not an issue. And so if there's no, or if there are comments from my colleagues, I would love to hear them. If not, I would love to make a motion.
Okay. I think I closed the public hearing.
Yes, you did.
So, yes, I think we're ready for that. There are no questions or comments, so if you'd take them one at a time, please.
Madam Mayor, I think there's a comment from Councilwoman Diaz.
Please.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Councilman Creer. I have many of these tire shops in my ward, and I am sometimes a little uneasy because of the safety concerns. They don't have bays. You kind of just arrive and you randomly, haphazardly just park wherever you can land. I do see a significant improvement in these plans based on what currently exists and what it would be built to be. I think the community would be better served if this looks like a significant improvement, and especially for me, safety and making sure that cars are not kind of colliding or losing sight of people who are around one another, because there's one central location where your tires get checked out, but there's no organization, rhyme, or reason or scheme to it. So I do commend the significant improvement in your plans.
Thank you. It's been many years of trial and error, and working with these groups. I don't like people working outdoors. I like to be, if you're gonna take your car to get serviced, you need to have the safety of being in the bay, knowing that you could easily back out the car and not run over the guy that's changing your tire or items of that nature. If you do not allow the customers to, if you build boundaries that say, Mr. Customer, this is a work zone. Please give me the keys to your car. I'll go work on your car. I'll back out the car, and then it's all yours to take. If you build those through, if you educate and create a circular pattern in which you have perfect workflow, you're gonna see a lot less accidents. You're gonna see a cleaner work environment, discipline, and that discipline comes through education on orienting these business owners that a clean business is a more profitable business. And
Thank you.
Yep, no need to.
Okay.
You ready?
Ready.
All right, good. So for item 66, VAR 76120, I move for approval.
Thank you. There's a motion on agenda item 66 for approval. Please vote and please post. That motion carries. 67,
Thank you,
please.
Madam Mayor. VAR 76267, I move for approval.
Thank you. There's a motion to approve on 67. Please vote and please post. Motion carries. And finally, on 68, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Item 68, SDR 76121, I move for approval.
Thank you very much. There's a motion on agenda item 68, please. Motion to approve, please vote and please post. And that carries too. Good luck to you. Thank
Good
you
luck.
for these.
thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to agenda item 6970, 69 GPA 75931, a request for a general plan amendment from PCD Plan Community Development to R Rural Density Residential, and agenda item 70 ZON 75932, a request for rezoning from U undeveloped zone, PCD Plan Community Development General Plan designation to R-D, Single Family Residential Restricted. Applicant owners John S. Sarapucciello Trust on 1.25 acres west side of El Capitan Way, approximately 340 feet north of O'Hare Road. On both items, staff recommends denial. Planning Commission recommends approval. Note the request was amended at Planning Commission from RD, Single Family Residential Restricted, to RE, Residence Estates. These are in Ward 6 with Councilwoman Mayor Pro Tem Fiore. Public hearings, which I declare open. Is the applicant or representative present? Hi.
Good afternoon, Your Honor, members of the council. John Vornsan, 62 Swan Circle in Henderson, representing the application. When this property, or this, I should say, this acre and a quarter has existed as a separate lot since the early 1960s at a minimum. When the property located to the north, south, and west was developed in 2002 into a PUD, the original owner of this property did not want to sell. And thus the property was isolated on 3 sides fronting on El Capitan Way. The present owner is requesting a change in the general plan to rural and a zone change to RE to permit 21,000 square foot lots. There'll be 2 lots of 21,000 square foot each, which is similar size to the lots to the north and south adjacent to El Capitan. I guess with that, we would respectfully request that you follow the recommendation of both staff and the Planning Commission for approval, and glad to answer any questions you may have. I believe staff has changed their recommendation because of the RE.
Thank you very much. Mr. Summerfield?
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor. So the general plan amendment and rezoning requests were heard at Planning Commission on May 28th of this year. At Planning Commission, as the applicant indicated and as you've already read, the rezoning request was modified from a request to go to RD to an RE designation. With the proposed change to the RE, staff is, as indicated, in agreement with Planning Commission and has recommended approval of these applications.
Thank you very much. This is a public hearing. Anyone wishing to comment on either of these items? Close public hearing, and we'll turn these over to Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. With that, if my colleagues don't have any other questions, I'd like to move for a motion to approve on item number 69.
Thank you. There's a motion to approve agenda item 69. And the computer's giving us a little bit of heartache. Please vote. I can't. I have an oral yes. Okay, that motion carries. We'll move on to agenda item 70.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move to approve agenda item number 70.
Thank you. There's a motion to approve on 70. Please vote and please post. And that motion carries as well. Thank you very much. Okay, we are now going to open items 71 to 75 and 76 to 80 together, as we'll take separate motions when appropriate. 71, GPA 75969, a request for a general plan amendment from R, rural density residential, to L, low density residential. 72, ZON 75972, a request for rezoning from RE residence estates to R1 single-family residential. Number 73, VAR 75973, and a request for variance to allow a 1.00 connectivity ratio where 1.30 is the minimum required. Private streets without a gate not to be constructed to public street standards, and a non-gated modified street terminus where a cul-de-sac is required. Number 74, VAC 75974, a request for a petition to vacate U.S. government patent easements and portions of a public sewer easement generally located on the north side of Alexander Road, west of Durango Drive. Number 75, TMP 75975, on a request for a tentative map for a proposed 8-lot single-family residential subdivision. The applicant on this group of items is D.R. Horton. The owner is Scott Family Trust et al. On 2.11 acres north side of Alexander Road, approximately 960 feet west of Durango Drive. RE Residence Estate Zone proposed R1 single-family residential. Planning Commission recommends approval on all items. Staff recommends approval on item number 74 and denial on 71 through 70. I just marked this. Where am I? 71 through 73 and 75. And then we'll, do you want to take these first?
Mayor, if we could, even though they're next door to one another, they are totally separate
Okay,
properties.
can
We
I
could take
read them all?
Yep, that'd be
Okay.
great.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. 76, GPA 75971, a request for general plan amendment from R rural density residential to LO density residential. 77, ZON 75976, request for rezoning from RE residence estates to R1 single-family residential. Number 78, VAR 75977, a request for a variance to allow a 1.00 connectivity ratio of 1.30 is the minimum required. Private streets not constructed to public streets street standards and without an access gate where such is required in a modified street terminus or cul-de-sac or hammerhead is required. Number 79, VAC 75978, a request for a petition to vacate U.S. government patent easements generally located north side of Alexander Road, west of Durango Drive. Number 80, TMP 75979, on a request for tentative map for a proposed 8-lot single-family residential subdivision. The applicant on this group of items is D.R. Horton. The owner is Johnson Trust on 2.09 acres north side of Alexander Road, approximately 1,640 feet west of Durango Drive. Residence Estate Zone, proposed R1 single-family residential. Planning Commission recommends approval of all items. Staff recommends denial on numbers 60 through 78 and 80 and approval on 79. These are in Ward 4 with Councilman Anthony, or public hearings which I declare open. I know the applicant is present, and so shall we hear from you first, and then we'll go over to Mr. Summerfield.
Sounds good. Thank you, Your Honor. Tony Celeste, address 1980 Festival Plaza Drive, here on behalf of D.R. Horton Homes for all applications 71 through 80. I appreciate you taking this group together. You can see right here on the overhead, they are basically, I call them kind of twin properties here, both about 2 acres. One located to the east here on Alexander, highlighted in yellow, is with respect to items 71 through 75, and then the one on the corner of Giuliano and Alexander is 76 through 80. We have pretty much very similar applications for both, so kind of be general when I speak to both of them, and there will be one point where I'll be specific about one of the applications as we agreed to an additional condition with the neighbor. So both, with respect to both of these applications, we are requesting an amendment to the general plan as well as a zone change amendment to low density with the corresponding zone change of R1. You can see across Alexander here, we have what is left of the RPD5 zoning, which is no longer a zoning district, more akin to R1, what you see here. So we are asking for R1 on both those sites. We appreciate Planning Commission approval on both the amendment to the general plan to low and the zoning to R1. With respect to our site plan, you can see here we're proposing 2 different communities, 8 cul-de-sac community. Lots range anywhere from about 8,000 square feet to 12,000 square feet. Kept the larger lots adjacent to the RMP there. We have a couple of technical applications associated with that being one, vacation abandonment of your patent easements and other easements that are no longer required for this property. Also, both are going to be private streets, and we are not proposing a gate, so that does trigger a variance there too that has, as I had mentioned prior, is generally uniformly accepted by both Planning Commission and the City Council, those variances. The other variance we have with respect to both of these is the connectivity ratio. It's a 1-to-3 standard. We are just proposing 1 right here. A little bit difficult to meet on such small properties. These are each about 2 acres. You can see with respect to this property right here, we are, with the exception of Alexander, essentially landlocked. We have development going on to the east of us that we would not be able to provide access, and then to the east and west of us, it's undeveloped, and we do not control those, so there would be no alternative access there either. Similar to Alexander, although I suppose we could somehow utilize Giuliano, but that would be kind of a hardship to such a small property to provide that secondary access. If this was a site that was 10 or 15 acres, then that would be completely different standard that we would absolutely have to meet those connectivity ratios, but on such a small parcel that, especially ones that are kind of landlocked, becomes difficult to meet. Finally, what I wanted to offer was that we met with we had a neighborhood meeting back in April. I believe we resolved a lot of the issues with the neighbors prior to even Planning Commission. The last outstanding issue was with respect to Mr. Eugene, who lives here. I did not see him in the audience, but nonetheless, I will carry forward our commitment that lots 4 and 5, and I believe this would be applicable to item number 80, our tentative map, that we would condition those to be single-story only. And I told him that we would honor that commitment, and I wanted to carry that forward as well today. So that would be an additional condition I would like to be imposed on. I believe it would be applicable to item 80. With that, more than happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Mr. Summerfield?
Madam Mayor, it's a similar presentation for both projects. The proposed general plan amendments and rezonings that have been requested for these two projects would allow a density of 5.49 dwelling units per acre and a minimum buildable lot of 6,500 square feet. The subject parcels are within Planning Area B of the Northwest Interlocal Agreement, and that requires a minimum buildable size of 10,000 square feet. Therefore, staff does not support the general plan amendment and rezoning request. Staff does support the vacations in each instance, and therefore, staff is recommending approval of the vacations for each of these subdivisions, but is recommending denial of all other applications. We do have a condition to add based on the applicant's presentation, if the councilman would like to add that on item 80 when he gets to that motion.
Okay, you got that? Okay, this is a public hearing. Anyone here who wishes to comment on any of these items? I will close public hearing. I gather on the property to the right, you're assuming, because there's no development there, that you're not going to commit to lot 4 and 5, single stories there?
We have not made that commitment. The neighbors did not ask us for that. We was specific to 4 and 5 for this one, but.
And is it, the rest of the lots are planned at this point as two-story buildings?
It would be a mixture right now. We'd prefer to have the flexibility to offer 1 and 2 story. I think the trend is more likely than not single story, but we would like to at least have the flexibility on those lots, except, as I had mentioned, 4 and 5, where we certainly are committed to putting that in a condition of single story only.
And is the developer looking to do them simultaneously, or build the one first and then get it on the market and then go to the other?
Good question, Your Honor. No, they would most likely, they would go in simultaneously for this reason, because they're both so small that because they're going to have common HOAs, so they're going to go in the same time. It would be very difficult to have only 8 home HOAs. So having it 16, even though they are separated, they would have a common HOA. So the plan is for them to be simultaneous.
Okay, any comments from council, or yes, Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councilman, what are the black areas on this map? Like, through you, Councilman, sorry, Mr. Tony. What are the black areas next to 4 and 5 and next to 4?
Those are going to be dedicated sewer easements through there, so we're not going to be building on that portion.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions, comments? No, please, Councilman.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, we'll start with agenda item 71. I will make a motion to follow Planning Commission's recommendation for approval.
Thank you. There's a motion to approve agenda item 71. Please vote and please post. Motion carries. On number 72, please.
Make a motion to follow Planning Commission's recommendation for approval.
Thank you. There's a motion to approve agenda item 72. Please vote and please post. Motion carries. 73.
Make a motion to follow Planning Commission's recommendation for approval.
Thank you. There's a motion on agenda 73 to approve. Please vote and please post.
Oops.
Motion carries. 74, please.
Make a motion to follow Planning Commission's recommendation for approval.
Thank you. There's a motion on agenda 74 to approve. Please vote, please post. Motion carries. 75?
Madam Mayor, if I may.
Yes.
Apologize for interrupting. Councilman, I just want to be clear for on the record, the applicant did show a different design for the street terminus. I believe in their representation, they have actual cul-de-sacs. I just want to be clear, the map that you are approving right now still shows the alternative terminus, which is the hammerhead design. So I just want to be clear because there was one item on the dais versus what's in the backup, and we do not have those up, we don't have the drawings that the applicant had that shows that they are changing to a cul-de-sac. So at this time, you're still approving a hammerhead design for the street terminus under
I think
those maps.
I think I want to approve the cul-de-sac.
Okay.
So how do you want to do that?
So then I need a condition that revised tentative maps depicting a proper cul-de-sac must be submitted to the Department of Planning for review prior to submission of final map.
So that would be on...
Yeah, that would be for
and
both
80?
items 75 and 80. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'll have the additional condition on item 80 regarding the single-story lots.
Thank you. Good with that?
Thank you.
Okay, I'll make a motion to follow, this is for 75, follow Planning Commission's recommendation for approval with those conditions.
Fine. And so 75, please vote, and please post. Motion carries. Now we're on to the other parcel, and that's 76.
Make a motion to follow Planning Commission's recommendation for approval on 76.
Thank you. A motion to approve on 76. Please vote and please post. That carries. And number 77.
Move to approve, approve Planning Commission's recommendation for approval.
Thank you. On 77, a motion to approve. Please vote, please post. That carries. Number 78.
Motion to follow Planning Commission's recommendation for approval.
Thank you. There's a motion on agenda item 78 to approve. Please vote and please post. Motion carries. 79.
Move to follow Planning Commission's recommendation for approval.
Thank you. There's a motion on agenda item 79 to approve. Please vote and please post. And that motion carries. And finally, with the condition on 80.
Madam Mayor, through you, Councilman, so the amended condition, so again, this one would have added condition, a revised tentative map shall be submitted to the Department of Planning prior to the submittal of the final map with the depiction of the cul-de-sac terminus. And then a second condition would be added to this tentative map that says lots number 4 and 5 shall be single-story homes.
Thank you. Understand. I understand.
Okay, on item number 80, I'll make a motion to follow Planning Commission's recommendation for approval with all conditions.
Thank you. There's a motion on number 80. Please vote and please post. And that motion carries. You've had a full day. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Let's have a good
And as we know, number 81 has been obeyed to the 7th of August. And we have, do I need to read the public hearing, information into the record at this time? I'll just turn it back to the clerk, if I may, if you can reach that. Okay, we'll move on to agenda item 82. No, we won't. Why isn't this, do you have 82 clear? Oh, I got it, sorry. SUP 76219, a request for special use permit for proposed horse corral or stable commercial use. Number 83 SDR 76220, and a request for a site development plan review for a proposed commercial recreation amusement outdoor event center with waivers of the interim downtown Las Vegas development standards on 5.99 acres. The applicant owner is T-UPR 2 LLC at 22310, 324, and 432 South Main Street, CM Commercial Industrial and M Industrial Zones. These are in Ward 5 with Councilman Creer. Public hearings, which I declare open. Is the applicant or representative present? Aye.
Mayor?
Yes, please.
Just one comment. The applicant is the Plaza. My wife works at the Plaza, and our city attorney says that I can still vote on this. So I just want to make that disclosure.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Laura Drea, 520 South 4th Street. Here with me is Grant Garcia of the Plaza Hotel. The plaza has been hosting a variety of outdoor events on the undeveloped lot adjacent to their resort for a couple of years now. The site is directly across from this building on Main Street. To this point, each event has obtained a temporary use permit. We were asked by staff to apply for a more permanent designation to reduce the administrative processing, and that's why we're here today. This item was on one motion, one vote at Planning Commission, so we ask for your approval and feedback as well.
Thank you. And let's hear from Mr. Summerfield first in the public hearing.
Hello, Peter Lowenstein for the record. Thank you. Staff is recommending approval of the special use permit to allow the arena, staging areas, corrals, and stables to be positioned as needed during each individual event that involves livestock. Furthermore, staff supports the associated site development plan review waiver request as the variety of the outdoor events require flexibility in the site in order to accommodate each event appropriately, and is recommending approval of the applications with conditions. Thank you.
Thank you. And the conditions there, I gather Councilman knows the conditions?
I'm not going to assume, but I believe so.
Are you, yes?
Yes,
Okay.
we're good.
Okay, this is a public hearing. Is there anyone who wishes to be heard on either of these items? I'd like to compliment the plaza. I thought the events were beautiful, well-run, and brought a lot of income to the city, and I know had full support of even those involved in the rodeo out throughout the community, and just really excited about this. And of course, I can see everything from my window, which I appreciate. So with that, and the public hearing closed, Councilman Creer, unless anybody has any questions, comments from council, it's yours.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, you have a great seat right off your balcony there.
certainly
You
do.
can watch every single event.
We invite everybody.
Yeah. You know, this corral was never supposed to be a permanent facility. I'm fine with the outdoor event center. I think that's great. I also concur with the mayor. I think that Jonathan Jocelyn team have done a great job of just trying to figure out ways to bring more awareness to the property. With the constraints of having the Greyhound station there, it kind of makes it somewhat difficult for the expansion that's happening. But the corral was never supposed to be permanent. You know, we had talked about we'll just go on a sort of a case-by-case basis. But I don't believe that I haven't heard of a lot of issues with the corral, and that was the biggest thing, that we'd have some flexibility to say if there are problems, then we'll address them as is. So I want to move for approval, but have a one-year review on this so that we can make sure that things aren't, it's just not completely permanent with the corral. And if that's okay, then you let me know.
Yes, we accept that condition.
Okay, great. So is any other comments?
No, I think we're good.
Great, I'd like to make them over for approval. SUP 76219 was subject to a one-year council review of the...
Madam Mayor, I can read the condition into the record.
If you'd like. Thank you.
Thank you. A required review at a public hearing before the City Council shall be held 1 year from the date of final approval.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you. There's a motion to approve on agenda item 82. Please vote, please post. And that motion carries. And on agenda item 83.
83 SDR 76220, I move for approval.
Thank you. And also on agenda item 83, a vote to approve. Please vote and please post. And that motion carries as well. Great. Okay, on agenda item 84, SUP 76224, public hearing, applicant Taste of Africa owner, FAEC Holdings, Warula LLC, possible action on a request for a special use permit for a proposed 12,741 square foot tavern limited establishment use with a 1,245 square foot outdoor patio at 450 Fremont Street, Suite 295, C2, General Commercial Zone, Ward 5 of Councilman Creer. Planning Commission and staff recommend approval. That's a first for the day. Good way to bring that one home. And this is a public hearing, which I declare open. Is the applicant or representative present? Wow. That's because you two agree with the planning. Okay. Any comments, questions from council? Okay with that, Councilman Creer, cheers.
Thank you. I'm not inclined to approve something if the applicant is not here. But like I did last time for Amigo Tires, I want to give them an opportunity to come in and tell their project. I've met with them prior. I don't know what's changed from that. So I'd like to obey this item until the July the 17th meeting, if possible.
Okay, there's a motion to obey to July 17th to give us an opportunity to see and maybe taste what's being served or hear about it or something. Okay. Please vote and please post. Oh, okay. She has excused herself. That's fine. Okay, please post. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Can't wait for that. Agenda item 85, SUP 76163, public hearing, applicant Canastars, permit on, owner. Pardon?
You're going to abstain. Go back.
I know. I just read them, then I say I abstain because of all of that. Canastars, owner, Pine Mountain Holdings LLC, for possible
Mayor?
action on a request.
I just want to be on the record. I heard I was.
Oh, okay.
To be yes on the last one.
Okay, would you please do that
Thank
on
you.
number 84?
Thank you, sorry.
Thanks, no problem. For possible action, a request for special use permit for proposed 5,000 square foot marijuana dispensary use at 631 South Las Vegas Boulevard, C2 General Commercial Zone, Ward 3, with Councilwoman Diaz. Planning Commission and staff recommend approval. This is a public hearing, which I declare open. And at this point, I'm going to turn this over to Councilwoman Mayor Pro Tem, because I have a son who is in the marijuana business. So please, if you'll continue on that.
Thank you so
We'll hear
much.
from you.
I see the applicant is present.
Good afternoon. Lucy Stewart, 1930 Village Center Circle, representing Canastars. And with me on the front row is Ms. Brenda Gonzalez, who's one of the owner and operators of the facility. And this is replacing an adult use at this location for a dispensary. It's next to Pawn Stars, that's the name, Canastars. We were recommended for approval by staff and also by Planning Commission, and so we respectfully request approval from this board. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Summerfield. Mr. Lowenstein.
Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem. So the proposed use complies with all the minimum distance requirements set forth in Title 1912 and therefore can be conducted in a compatible and harmonious manner with the surrounding existing uses. As such, staff is recommending approval of the use subject to conditions. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to be heard on this item? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. May I have a motion, Councilwoman Diaz?
Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem. First and foremost, I wanted to state on the record that I had the ability to go visit their current dispensary off of 420 Sahara. Very impressed by the operations there and the security and just the level of compassion with which they operate. So I think it's a good thing happening in Ward 3 to bring in more jobs and more security that's needed in the downtown area. And with that, I move to approve this item.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and we'll move on now to agenda item, no, we won't. Agenda item 86 is obeyed to the 21st of August, and we are, goodness, well, not the best time ever, but a good time for our new council persons to enjoy an early end of council meeting. Please set, our clerk, please set dates on appeals filed or required public hearings. Instruct the city clerk to set the public hearing dates and appeals from the City Planning Commission meetings and dangerous buildings or nuisance litter abatements.
Will do.
Wonderful. And now we are ready for our second Citizen participation. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the City Council. No subject may be acted upon by the City Council unless the subject's on the agenda and scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, please come to the podium, give your name for the record. The amount of discussion on any single subject as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited. This is your opportunity to address the council, but the council is not able to respond, engage in dialogue. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak under this portion of the agenda? Thank you. We will move on to agenda. Somebody, we have somebody. Thank you. Good eyes. And your name, sir, please.
Hi, my name is Mordecai Shemtov from case 81. Pretty much what happened, this lady, I think her name is Stephanie, I don't know her personally.
She turned in a card which the clerk has. It's been obeyed to the 21st.
Yeah.
What was it, obeyed to the what? August 7th, excuse me.
Yeah, August 7th, yeah. So I want to talk about these things. So pretty much what happened, she decided one day that she want to build a casita. That was a few years ago. And she built a casita 3.5 feet instead of 6 from the wall that we're sharing in my backyard. And then like a year after, she decided to extend the casita and open another window to my backyard, watching my pool. And then a couple of months ago, she decided that she want to build another casita or another room. And again, everything is like 3.5 feet from the wall that we share. It's not 6 feet like it should be. It's look really bad. She doesn't have any permit for any of these things. And I don't think it need to be approved.
Thank you. We do have your card, and I don't know where planning is on this, if it was in compliance, what was done on the property. But 81, you did speak to...
Correct. 81 is here because of code enforcement violation, and so that's why we received a code enforcement violation. In order to remedy that violation, she is attempting to get a variance to allow her to have the decreased distance separation between her structure and, I believe, her home. And so that will be the item that you'll hear when it's heard again on the 7th, I believe.
But if she's in violation, according to his commentary, of what was already built, that would be heard again in public?
Correct.
At that time?
Yes, ma'am.
We have your card. It's a matter of record that's been filed. I don't know if we give that to planning. Madam Clerk, do we give that? You'll give it over to planning so they have a record of that. And so your opportunity, you're of record, but they know there's violation already. So I don't know if you can come back on that obeyed date. You're certainly welcome to, but you've made a record anyway.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for catching that. Anyone else? Okay, we'll close public comment. We'll move on to agenda item 89, council member recognition. Comments made by individual city council members during this portion of the agenda will not be acted upon by the city council unless the subject's on the agenda and scheduled for action. We will start way down at the right. The new...
Ladies first.
Ladies, isn't this wonderful, the distaff? Is that all right? We could always do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But we are going to start way down at the right there with Councilwoman Seaman. You go first. The floor is yours.
Be good. Councilwoman Seaman. We are in the planning process of doing events in Ward 2, so we have nothing to report yet.
Great. Well, you've had a wonderful day, and it's just so nice, and this timeline's the best.
Right to work.
Right.
Thank you so much, Mayor.
Thank you, and congratulations, and we're excited. And
Thank you.
Councilwoman Diaz.
Thank you, Mayor, and I'm in the same boat as my colleague here. We are drinking from a fire hose, learning all of our duties, but super excited and have a lot of energy to come into the ward and work on the council to make great change for our city.
Wonderful.
So super excited, and next time we will have updates to report on work in progress and wonderful people who are coming on board.
Wonderful. Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem? And congratulations to you.
Thank you so much, Madam Mayor. While it is a true honor to be named Mayor Pro Tem, the honor is a little sweeter for me because it's coming from my mentor and our extraordinary Mayor, Carolyn Goodman. As members of the Las Vegas City Council, we are elected to represent the citizens of our respected wards. However, we serve all the citizens of Las Vegas. I am truly excited by the opportunities as Mayor Pro Tem to expand that service into all the areas of our great city. I will apply the same tireless work ethic I employ in Ward 6 to this new position so that I may prove myself worthy of the faith that the Mayor Goodman has placed in me. And I just want to thank my fellow council members and my mayor for that vote of confidence to make me your Mayor Pro Tem. And so with that, we have a huge 4th of July tomorrow. We start off early in the morning at 8:30 on our fire truck with our downtown Summerlin parade, which Councilman Anthony and Councilwoman Seaman, I believe, will be taking part. Are you coming? And Councilwoman Diaz and yeah, and of course our mayor, Mayor Goodman, and Mayor, both Mayor Goodmans will be there, right? Yes, our mayors will be there as well. And then from there, we are doing our huge 4th of July spectacular, and I'm so excited because Councilman Anthony has split the cost with me. So Councilman Anthony and I and Larry and Commissioner Larry Brown will be joining us for our huge 4th of July celebration. And I will tell you, the folks that stepped up to help us make it spectacular, and I'm talking spectacular, 15-minute fireworks show, free hot dogs, free ice cream, necklaces. We're going to have a red, white, and blue Corvette Chevrolet. The folks that really helped us with this is Anderson Dairy, Bozard, Univision, Rock Academy, our Centennial Hills YMCA, our Sky Canyon. Gary Goet is a rock star for Ward 6. He helps us tremendously with all of our events. Our Las Vegas Aviators, our Sun State, and B&B at Your Service Catering, Wild One Entertainment, Allied Universities, Porta Potties, Work Zones, Clark County. We have so many folks that have really stepped up to the plate to make this year spectacular. We expected 1,000 folks last year, and we received 3,000. So we're expecting 3,000 this year, and we'll most likely get 5,000 people at that event. That's
You
why
have
we
5,000 hot dogs?
Yeah, we do.
And apple pies?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And drinks and necklaces.
No wonder you needed Councilman Anthony.
Yes, so that's going to be our 4th of July. You're right. So, now on a very serious note, we are still, we're working on our missing youth, our missing juvenile. Ashley Cambero, she's female, 17 years old. She's 5'5", she weighs 120 pounds. She's got brown hair and brown eyes. She's Hispanic. Ashley was last seen in the area of Torrey Pines Drive and Windmill Lane. So please, if you see Ashley or know where she is, please call Las Vegas Metro Police at 702-828-3111 or our Nevada Child Seekers at 702-458-7009. We also are looking for Isaiah, and he is 18-year-old male. He's 5'8", he weighs 113 pounds. He's got brown eyes and black hair. He's African American, and he was last seen in the area of Pecos and Bonanza. We don't know what he was wearing, but please, if you know where Isaiah is, please call Las Vegas Metro Police at 702-828-3111 or our Nevada Child Seekers at 702-458-7009. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we'll start with our newest council person. Councilman Knutson, please.
I just thank you very much to the mayor and Mayor Pro Tem and members of the city council, the city staff, and my babysitter just abandoned me, but to the city attorney, Jeff, thanks for sitting and keeping me out of trouble. Thank you.
Wonderful. Okay, Councilman Creer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Please come on and join me for our new traffic signal activation as I flip the switch on Tuesday, July the 9th to activate the traffic signal at Lake Mead and Comstock. We were there not too long ago where we broke ground, and now we're going to Flip it on. This light is needed to increase pedestrian safety and to control the flow of traffic. The event will take place near the north end of the parking lot of the Urban Chamber of Commerce. You may contact my office at 702-229-5443 if you should have any questions. Mother Hubbard's Cupboard. Join us as we give bags of food to the community through Mother Hubbard's Cupboard. The event will take place from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the Deerfeld Senior Center, 3343 West Washington Avenue, which is at Lorenzi Park. If you'd like to attend or make a donation, call 702-229-2238. And then we have Alpha Phi Alpha Day. So join me and Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated as we host a free family day on Saturday, July the 20th, in conjunction with Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity's 95th General Convention, which will be here. The event will take place in Las Vegas on Wednesday, January 24th through Sunday, July 28th. First, we kick off on the 17th of July here at the Chambers, where we're going to have a ceremonial for the fraternity on the July the 17th at 9 a.m. At Doolittle, we'll have the first event will begin at 9 a.m. Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity will present a check for $10,000 for 2 new scoreboards at the Doolittle baseball fields. And then we'll have our Strong Start Go Mobile Pre-K Academy, which will offer tours from 9 a.m. to noon at the Doolittle Community Center. And then 10 a.m. to noon, we're going to have free swimming lessons will be offered at the Doolittle Pool, and that's open for all ages. People come out, get your kids or your family members learn how to swim, vitally important, especially during the summer season. And then join us from noon to 3 for our Summer Splash Party with entertainment by DJ Ibrahim Pedro. Lunch and refreshments for children will be provided while supplies last. And then additionally, Congressman Stephen Horsford will host a health symposium from 12:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. at Nevada Partners, located at 710 West Lake Mead Boulevard. The whole day offers something for the entire family. For more information and the full schedule, visit my website, www.lasvegasnevada.gov/Ward 5, or contact my office, 702-229-5443. Many of you might know that the AD Guy Knowledge Center is now open again at 817 N Street. They offer free, low-cost educational programs for all ages, GED classes, law workshops, help learning English, training to start first in new jobs, reading classes, workshops on budgeting, help for new and small businesses, and more. This is a collaboration between the county with Commissioner Lawrence Weekly, as well as with the University of Nevada, Reno's Cooperative Extension. So for more information on the services offered, visit www.unce.unr.edu/ADGuy. And finally, we're going to have our Coffee with the Councilman Creer Thursday. We will not be holding Creer's Community Conversation at Tenaya Creek Brewery. I'll host the next Coffee with Councilman Creer on Thursday, August the 27th from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. at Starbucks, located at 925 Martin Luther King Boulevard. Join me for a cup of joe and conversation about matters important to you. Residents and businesses are welcome. For more information, contact my office at 702-229-5443. And you know you can always find us on our social media channels at Twitter at Cedric Creer, Instagram Councilman Creer, and then Facebook Councilman Cedric Creer. Happy 4th of July to everybody in the community, also to everyone on this council and everyone at City Hall.
Thank you. And while anybody heard that is August 27th, it said August 22nd. But I think what came out of your mouth was August 27th.
Yes.
But it is August 22nd, right?
22nd, yes.
August 22nd for Councilman. We have to keep watch on all of everybody here. So, go Councilman Anthony.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to wish everyone a great 4th of July tomorrow, Independence Day, honoring our country and our flag. As was mentioned, I will be at the Summerlin Parade tomorrow morning at 8:30, and then I will be up in Ward 6 celebrating 4th of July with Mayor Pro Tem Fiore, and then at the end of the night I'll be at the Plaza, which is having a great fireworks exposition, so it's going to be a fun day tomorrow. I hope everyone has a great day. Thanks.
Thank you very much. And then in closing, first of all, I want to congratulate once again all of our new council persons. It's great to have you on board. It's just really, it's exciting for us. Mayor Pro Tem, just so proud to have you here. I know you're going to do a great job. And of course, always thank our city management and manager's office and everybody that was sitting here that's had the good fortune to be able to get up and start the 4th of July early. I want to thank our city clerk and your entire wonderful staff, our IT department, our marshals, those from planning and building and safety and all the wonderful things you do or are in charge of, and just thank everybody that participates, our public, everybody that comes together. And I, too, with my sweet husband, former Mayor Oscar, will be in the parade in Summerlin tomorrow. The floats look phenomenal, as what's been covered on television, for those of you who still have those rather than just these. And I do watch television. And our next city council meeting will be Wednesday, July 17th at 9 o'clock here. And we thank everybody. Have a safe time. Remember, you light it, we write it, you'll get a ticket, and that's an immediate ticket. And so please be careful. UMC burn unit every single year has too many people coming in caused by fireworks, illegal fireworks, or misused fireworks. So we want it to be a happy 4th, a great 4th, and a safe 4th. So, and don't drink and drive. Thank you.